Now some folks will be like, "Oh, you asexual, so whoop de whoop." Like, I've dated men before. You know that, right? I've been in romantic relationship with men before, and they were not great. What people tend to think with choosing better is like there's an exception, like you dated the wrong crop. Instead of saying like it's patriarchy, it's domination, it's class war, it's all of the things. Instead of saying like we just live in a fucked off system. Instead of he being big patriarchy in the sense of Jeff Bezos, he can be little patriarchy, just kicking your ass in the house. I want to talk about this because I did just watch Olay Friends have a, I guess you can say, call-in conversation with Laverne Cox, which is the added, I guess, balance to the conversation. Usually people talk about the person, but the person being talked about, especially in a not so favorable light, being in the conversation, being part of the conversation, having the ability to sit there and listen to criticism is like high level self-awareness, self like regulation, as well as like humility, because a lot of people don't have it. You would think the most smartest, the most this and most that would be able to take criticism. They are not, especially surrounded by six people, and that says a lot about Laverne Cox as a person. But what I really wanted to get into was how even in the conversation, especially in the beginning, Laverne was kind of like, yeah, it's a white MAGA Republican, but like, okay, let me like preface the how the conversation became to be. So about a week ago, Laverne Cox on her social media, I saw it on Twitter, but on her social media, she released that she's doing a comedy special. But the basis of the comedy special, which she'll be discussing, are jokes and parts of her lived experience, because that's what comedians do. They talk about their lives. And Laverne Cox was basically saying she's going to talk about how she had her most recent relationship was with a white, blonde hair, blue eyed Republican MAGA cop, New York cop. So that set the internet in a frenzy because Laverne is not only black, but she's black and trans. So people were dragging her on in all corners of the internet, in particular those two categories of people, black and trans people. So I guess to mitigate the dumpster fire of a public announcement that Laverne did, she went on Olay and Friends to discuss what she meant by her video and the relationship and having people like her calling her out. One thing that Olay did do to set up the conversation, which I think was fucking fantastic and like duh, is that everybody who was in the conversation calling out Laverne were trans, which I think is like duh. But oftentimes when there are conversations, especially spicy conversation, you'll hear people saying, "We need to hear from all sides," and it'll be like a KKK with like Martin Luther King, and it's just like, bitch, why are you trying us like this? Like, not everybody deserves to be seen, Jubilee. Some people deserve to be under the hell. But I thought that was really good to have that perspective. And granted, I am queer and black, but I am not trans. I do not know the trans life. I do not know the trans experience. I am learning as everybody else, so I want to make that clear. But I do have criticism. um, and even in, like I said, the beginning of the conversation, Laverne was still mesmerized by that nigga. Like, as someone who was asexual, and aromantic. But I leave with my asexuality because that's very apparent to me. But aromantic came a little bit later in the realization of things. I like the way I like to help those who are not uh, on the queer spectrum, in particular asexual, aromantic, is like I like the idea of a relationship, not the practical application, to make it like tangible to conceive. Like, doesn't mean that I hate people, I hate relations. I don't have antisocial behaviors, bitch. Just because I don't want to sit there and rub together, don't mean I can't empathize. They're not one and the same. And coming back into this conversation, I cannot for the life of me understand, as someone who is, I am trans, I live a trans life, I'm a black woman, I'm an older black woman, and that's no shade as opposed to like, you know better, you lived long enough to know better. I don't understand how you can be in a relationship and during the time, bitch, during the time of the George Floyd protest, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, and he's part of the blue and the Blue Lives Matter and all of the things. And you're doing activism for black folks, you're doing activism for trans folks, and you still had the desire to fall in love with a MAGA Republican cop. Now, granted, he can tuck in the Republican in the back pocket. He could tuck in the conservative in the back pocket. But you knew he was wearing that blue and you was just like, okay. Like there's always things that lead to other things. No different than when you date an abuser. He may not start off smacking you, but he's gonna undermine you. He's gonna start doing controlling things, and all these red flags leads into actual physical domination. So my whole thing is, how does this motherfucker wear a police uniform? And you just like vibes. How you saying Black Lives Matter, our lives matter? Like fuck the pigs. Maybe you're not abolitionist. Maybe you're not Olay. Maybe you're not full blown there. But you definitely on some like these police cops are problematic. And you still had time to fall in love. Make that make sense to me. Please make that make sense to me. Because I get it. Sometimes I get it. The heteronormative thing, the romantic thing, the a metanormativity of things, of linking up and partnering up and sort of meaning, like I get it, like on a technical level, on a definition level. I just don't understand practically how you like, I will forego everything that I stand for, not even just on some vibe shit, on some like white liberal blue haired bitch. Like she really ain't got no real problems like that. She just want to make sure that she gets the supervisor position. She just want to make sure that that DEIA and that affirmative action make sure that she gets to supervise the niggas and she not being supervised by the niggas. That's really her beef. Everything else is just vibes. That and abortion rights. Everything else is just vibes. But you believe in this shit because this actually creates your material reality. These policies literally allows you to exist or not exist. Blinks in Florida. Don't say gay bill. Trans hysteria. Drag queens reading to kids in a library. And you forego all of that because dick hard? Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand. Like, how can you move in that contradictory way and exist in that way? Now, some folks will be like, oh, you asexual, so you know, whoop de whoop. Like I've dated men before. You know that, right? I've been in romantic relationship with men before, and they were not great. What people tend to think with choosing better is like there's an exception, like you dated the wrong crop, instead of saying like it's patriarchy, it's domination, it's class war, it's all of the things. Instead of saying like we just live in a fucked off system. Instead of he being big patriarchy in the sense of Jeff Bezos, he can be little patriarchy, just kicking your ass in the house. So it's not an exception. It's not like I don't have these lived experiences. It's not like a second hand experience. It's not some shit I'm reading in a Reddit thread. I've been there too. And there's some things that I have accepted that I will not be accepting at my big grown age of 33. That is true. But never have I ever fucked on a nigga. Well, a non-nigga, hence the whole MAGA Republican blue-eyed blonde hair thing. So I don't have the experience of being that intimate with white people. So like I'll just put that on the floor. Live next to them. Live in a predominantly Caucasian. Well, now they say it's more people of color, but the real power hold is white. And never have I ever felt the need to be that intimate with these hoes. A. And B, even if I did, it would not be a motherfucker who hates my existence. Like, there's not enough that's gonna change the fact that you are hugged up and cool with motherfuckers who want to see me swinging on a tree by my fucking neck. Like, I just don't understand how you could just put that to the side and everything is all right. And this is why I'm always saying, like, allosexuals are the fucking weakest link. We love to critique everything, but we don't really want to talk about sexual politics. It's either everybody let's fuck everything on some Bonnie Blue shit, or it's Puritan culture. Where's your chastity belt? Read the Bible. It's nothing fucking reasonable. It's nothing that makes love the dominant factor, but also like respect, decency, reciprocity. That's not even consent. That's not even part of the conversation. And just like Deshaun said, a lot of people are operating on desire. And I wish you hosts would admit it. Because like propaganda admits it, marketing admits it, hell, Beyonce and her corporation admits it. But everybody else wants to pretend like that ain't it. Literally on a scale, what's beautiful, what's not beautiful, what's in style, what's not in style is all desirability politics. But when we call a thing, everybody want to act crazy. And this is why allosexual are the fucking weakest link. On Twitter right now, what's going viral is fake ass dimples. Because it's a la mode. Why? Because it's desirability. The number one nippled ass bitch I can think right now is Lauren London. And she checks off all the desirability things. Light skin big, girl her, dimples, thick. She crossed off all the desirability policies. But when we say, okay, other people are lining up to get the bleaching, other people are lining up to get the dimples, everybody get lined up to BBLs, everybody's like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Allosexuals are legitimately the weakest link. And what makes it fucking fantastic in a way of diabolical is that most people are fucking allosexuals. And because, like one of the panelists said, oh, the personal and the private can be separated. The one who's really going after Sean, it ain't my show, it ain't my panels, it ain't my guest. I'm just an observer. But that would be a no go. That would be a no go, especially for the fact that Deshaun is good people in good politics. So, like, what was that energy for? Like, that's not it. Please. But also, y'all think you can fuck on a Klansman and come to the Black Lives Matter rally? You don't think that's op shit? Because I would think that's op shit. You cannot separate the two. There's no like, oh, I'm going to the protest, but if I want to fuck on a Nazi, it is what it is. You sound like them liberal white hoes who be like, yeah, my husband voted for Trump, but I'm going to the polls to cancel his vote. Dummy bitches, did it work? Because now that motherfucker president twice time over. So I'm just like, what is we really talking about? Like, what is we really fucking talking about? Especially when we live in a society where there's an underground and in a public facing. Public facing, we're all doing consent and we respect each other's bodies and we have missionary sex. But the underground is we're buying for sex, we love Pornhub, sex trafficking, and all the things. On the surface, no one's doing gay shit because don't say gay. Underground, gay clubs, gay saunas, sex alleys, and all of the things. The Puritan culture is Puritan, and people are still catching HIV, and that's on Houston. Houston, we got a problem. So what I really think, and what really stuck out to me was the fact that not only was them not trying to hear Deshaun and Joy, because I did like Joy, because Joy had a whole lot of heart. Joy had a whole lot of heart. Joy shed some tears, but Joy had a whole lot of heart. Is it Joy or is it Faith? Dark skin girly, dark skin for the team. Dark skin for the win, because her thoughts really was mwah. Her and Deshaun. And some cat black. I get it. I get it. I get it. I so get it. Even specifically because yes, I am not trans, but living in a desirability world where you're trying to get it, but you don't get why you're not getting it. And then I I don't want to be so full of myself. I wasn't always like this. I was a heavy set ass girl. Okay. I was raised poor working class. I didn't get the hair and the nails. Instead, I started working for the hair and the nails and all of the things. I too was dealing with the colorism and the featureism and all of the things. I cannot escape that because A, I'm black in a white hegemony, white Southern colony USA, and B, I was outside of the margins and not getting why I wasn't rejected, but also not getting why I don't want to play into the things. I very much thought dating and romance and partnership was a choice because for me, in my at the time unrealized asexual, aromantic being, I just thought you could choose to do that shit. Like, you don't have to do that shit. You don't really desire. It's all a performance, and to a degree, it is a performance. Down to when you're in a same-sex relationship, who's the man and who's the woman? Sir, we both have vaginas. It is all a fucking performance. But I didn't get the performance until later in life and understand the politics behind it. And when I didn't understand the politics and I was performing the things, this is how I ended up in the same trash ass relationship with y'all with men. Because I truly believe dating men, especially cishet men, just men in general, is a humiliation ritual. It is a humiliation quink. I really do not know what more to say about that, but I do understand that it is not fair exchange being with men. Men will suck your life force and be unapologetic about it. Men will replace you. Men will treat you like a wife appliance. They will do things like weaponize incompetence. They will play with your emotion. They will neg you. They will do all of the things. And because I wanted to be picked too, and I wanted to be desired too, and I wanted to do the cis het normativity thing too, a metanormativity thing too. But if I also look back at it and I was also honest with myself, shit wasn't sweet either. When I really was doing the whole dating thing and partner thing was when I was in crisis. When my material condition wasn't all the way together. Or life was starting to form in the way that society tells you it's supposed to be. Go to school, get an education, graduate, get a job, get the house, all of the things. And when I too was trying to do the things and do the performance, that's when life sidetracked me with a cis het that put me on my fucking knees. So I really, really understood where Deshaun was coming from with that perspective, even as a non-trans person, but very much watching the desirability and following the leader. Just like trans women gotta follow the femininity, follow the makeup, follow the nails, follow the this and the third, not be clockable. You don't know, take the things down and pump the things up and do the hormones. Like, yes, yes, it's not only trans who are learning the performance. Those who are also living in a heteronormative Puritan society, we who are outside the margins, especially outside of desirability and sex, we too, if we are not sure of ourselves, perform the things and do the things. There's a lot of people later in life who discover that they're asexual, already got fucking kids, already fucking married, already fucked. Yeah, life is one big journey we are self-discovering. But back to y'all fucking on the ops, like what is that about? And especially with allosexuals, because it's not a particular hetero thing, a particular gay thing. What is it about us that we're willing to capitulate to patriarchy, even if it costs us our lives and our dignity? What the fuck is that? And that's something allosexuals have to sit with. In the same regards that all these women are boy moms and they love their boys and their boys are great, but like they in the chat room with 80,000 other niggas talking about how they can assault women, take advantage of women, beat women, and do all of the things. How is he mama's favorite little boy, but he's also a fucking incel? And some of y'all know that shit and you cover for him. You lie for him. You deceive other women talking about how he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, when in actuality you are doing PR, you're doing propaganda. You just want this nigga out your face, out your space, and you're willing to sell him off and push him off to an unsuspecting woman to finish off where he left off with you. Like, when are we going to say that patriarchy is just, it's just not enough to pick the right guy and educate? Like, that whole shit is a process. There was a point in the motherfucking broadcast where Laverne was talking about how she had to educate with him and bargain with him and do all this thing. Bitch, that's part of the reason why I don't even date Caucasian. Fuck I look like on my free time doing education workshops. Bitch, you supposed to be my partner, not my student. What the hell? I'll be damned. I'll be motherfucking that I gotta explain to you my humanity. Fuck outta here. But you're willing to capitulate. But we can see that for Laverne. But y'all do that all the time with your mans. Unpaid labor. You the man and the woman. You a married single mother. And it's interesting because it wasn't until maybe a week ago where I heard somebody use the term a married single dad. Which is duh. On the flip side of a married single mother, of course it would be married single dad. And what is a married single dad doing? He in the motherfucking chat with the 80,000 other niggas trying to figure out how he can do this, that, or the third to a woman who don't want it. When he married, he all set. His needs are made. He back into the streets. And I was thinking just yesterday, you know how funny in a misogynistic patriarchal way that men can have secret families, but never have ever women had secret families? That's not even a thing, because women are a cute pseudonym for slave, and there's no way a slave can be that free range to have a whole fucking outside family and nobody knows. And then on top of that, biological women, the ones with the whole vagina thing, um they out of commission for 9 months. Ain't no way that you're gonna have a secret family with a dude and you pregnant, and the other dude not gonna know that you pregnant. There's no way. But men can have whole secret decades. Could be in a whole secret family situation, and both them side families think they the main family and the only family. If you really sat back and think all the ways that patriarchy got women fucked up, there is no way in hell you can muster any type of desire. 4B movement all the way. Femicide stats and the reality that means for your lived black ass experience is enough for me to be like, yeah, if I wasn't already on the asexual side, I would be on the asexual side. And this is not for me to tell people stop dating and stop. Hey, I am not your Catholic priest, bitch. I don't give not a literal fuck. But let's call a spade a motherfucking spade. Allosexuals are the weakest link, bitch. In ways that we could always talk about how Shannon Sharp fucked up and lost his generational wealth to a Gen Z barely legal ass and titties, because all he wanted was ass and titties for a barely legal white tiny frail thing. Because that's what he likes. That's his type. And also, on top of the fact that he has a history of assault and rape and all of the things, and back child support, all the things that make a bad guy a bad guy. But on the surface, it's Shannon Sharp, former NFL, rich, moneyed, celebrity ties. Meanwhile, that's what he likes. Race porn, race humiliation, race kink. The surface level? Shannon Sharp. The behind the scenes, I like being called nerd. Well, I'm deep stroking a kid who's old enough to be my kid, a kid who's younger than my kid. But when my dirty deeds come out, I pay the hush money, and I just made her a millionaire overnight. But I also understand on the back end, this Black Love TM gotta go. Burn that shit to the ground. Not only is that not real, not only is it only Black love when it fits the cis het normative ideal, especially when it fits the bourgeois ideal. because we love us and Uncle Phil and Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, but ain't too many of y'all saying you want a Florida Evans and James Evans, and I wonder why the poor not. Let's talk about it. Let's put it on the flow. Desire. Does the politics be on desire? And everything that Black people like is very much a copy and paste of what white people like, what white people say is right. Down to our religion, Christianity. And the intersection between patriarchy, Christianity, and white hegemony has fucked us up since Plymouth Rock. And we're not willing to talk about it. And we are restricted in our sexuality. And I'm not talking about just trans in general. We don't know ourselves pre-colonial. And we're just trying to reinvent colonial just in Black. And it's just fucking repressive and oppressive. And this is coming from the asexual, might I add. The politics of desirability. Ain't nobody beating down the doors of disabled people. Apparently, trans people don't even like dating other trans people. Like Black people don't like. Ooh, ain't that right, Shannon? Ain't that right, Jamie Foxx? Hell, ain't that right, Michael B. Jordan? And Lori Harvey is just the exception, bitch, because there's always an exception. Halle Berry is all of these colorist niggas' favorite. There's always an exception, bitch. But the exception to the rule does not justify the fucking rule. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There, interestingly enough, I was watching Saturdays with Renee and Jared Ball, and there was this interview that we had with Brian Colba or something like that, and he was discussing about his latest book in regards to Herbert Henry Harrison, HHH. And when I tell you that man was a man before his fucking time, if you think Du Bois was brilliant, make way for fucking Harrison. He was talking that grizzy shit during Garvey's era. He was chin checking Garvey before now y'all have his critiques about Garvey. He was even chin checking Du Bois, who played Op later in his years during the Red Scare, Black Scare. Like when he was talking about free sex, it's really what that is. Why are we even homophobic to begin with Black people? Why are we even homophobic? Is it because the church said so? The same church who validated your ancestors being on slave boats? Like, why are we still trying to do the things when we know the things exist to be a polar opposite of our existence? Our literal humanity was policed, but we still worship and we still prioritize and we still do the performance that literally is our subjugation. Why? Why? Why do we keep choosing that? Why? When we really don't have to. Why do you even care if niggas is gay? It literally has nothing to do with you. Why do you care? And if Black people were truly fucking honest, it would boil down to because white people would say something, white people would think something, because that's not how whiteness operates. Even though there's literally the Roman Greco era. Like, what is we talking about? And to a degree, I do think Black people on a subconscious level think that they could do whiteness better than white people. And they live for that, down to their sexuality. And if Black people were just so fucking honest about anything, including their fucking sexuality, we'd have better adjusted households where you could live in your truth and still show up as a man, whatever the fuck that means. And that still is valid because the village still accepts you. The children need to still be fed and still be raised and still be loved, regardless of what the fuck you identified as. And that's real shit. We do need to integrate free love, which is a concept that Harrison elaborated on, where he was a Black man from the Caribbean, which I always feel like the Caribbean is so queer. Like the Caribbean is so spiritual. Whether folks are Catholic or they're doing obey, or whether they are presenting and performing straight but winding their hips at carnival. Like there are so many interwoven contradictions, and it's like, my niggas, take the fucking mask off. When are you going to be real? We're literally dying on a dying earth on our last fucking dying days, bitch. Die authentic at the very fucking least. If there's last 5 minutes on the fucking clock, at least be your authentic self in the last fucking 5 minutes of life. Be real. Be so fucking for real. And there is a conversation that wasn't had, but there needs to be had, where white women are to white supremacy in the way that they prop up white supremacy in the way of like trans hysteria and that black man made me feel scared. How they'll play into that to reinforce the structure of white hegemon. Black women will play into homophobia to reaffirm their dominance as the most desirable and natural partner with black men, even though that does not eliminate you from femicide, that does not eliminate you from domestic violence, that does not eliminate you from single motherhood, but will align with homophobia to keep black men performing the things and doing the things. So many of the pink pill, I hate black men rhetoric is the fact that black men can't perform white masculinity, white patriarchy. That's really what it comes down to. Why haven't you colonized like the white man is colonized? Can we be so fucking for real? Can we be so fucking for real? And you see that black women love, saying things like clocked, even the little finger tap, and it will get their face beat down and say the words and the things, but still be fucking homophobic. Ain't that right, Carisha? Saucy Santana all up in the video while you scowl at the thought of your son being gay. And then on top of that, even if he was, are you gonna fuck him? Because why do you care? Like, why do you care? Why are you invested in your child's genitalia? That's weird. On some Jeff Efring thing, like that's weird. But that's your main concern as a Christian. But nobody's looking at the Catholic Church. Nobody's looking at the Catholic Church. And children literally just fall out the fucking closet, bitch. But it's okay because they're performing heteronormativity. They're performing patriarchy. They're doing the things. They're doing the role. They're doing the performance. They're doing the ritual. So we're just going to ignore the boys falling out the closet. But let a black boy be confident and they switch. The sky's falling. That's part of the reason why y'all love that Oak Bluff collection. Just like there was no African print, there was no limp wrist either. It was very blonde, very beige, very neutral colors, very safe, very basic, very Americana. Shh. Don't disturb the peace. Play your role. Do the things. So that is my commentary. Overall, Laverne girl, do better. Like, what the entire fuck? And like, I don't know, but like, also me being confident in my asexuality is very much later in life. But also I made it intentional to find community because I'm very new to being queer, which is weird to say because you are who you are. But once you like see a thing, you know the thing, you're confirmed in self-acceptance of the thing, then you move in that thing. Like once you know something, you can't unknow it. Now that I know you a fucking cop, that's it, that's all. No matter what the fuck I thought about it, that new information changes everything. Everything. I don't give a fuck what I said, bitch. I only said that when I thought you wasn't a cop, bitch. Like, what the fuck? No, I take everything back, bitch. And I'm putting a restraining order. And on top of that, you do know cops be in their partners. They have high DV rates. It's like, what in the... allosexuals are the weakest link. So, yes, we live and we learn. Yes. But what did you actually learn from this? Not even just being dragged and doing the powwow circle. What did you learn from this, Mom? Because outside of this and you minding your business and being a private citizen, for the next time you might fuck around and fuck on a Nazi. Like, how do we make sure we don't keep on repeating this? Because yes, it's a conversation of like, yeah, Black women shouldn't carry the burden of Black love, Tam, which is true. You shouldn't. You should be loved. You should be honored. You shouldn't be kept as a freak or a secret or a toy or a thing. That is true. Very true. But also, are you in spaces where other Black queers congregate? Because like I said, back to me, when I realized that I was asexual and aromantic and someone said, technically hetero, I was like, if that was the case, technically hetero, then bitch, I would be hetero. I would be with the men. I would be doing the things. When I was doing the things, I realized that this shit is too much for me. I don't even like this shit. I don't even want to be here. And I pieced that together to be like, perhaps there's a deeper there. Perhaps I'm not actually hetero. But then it was like, what am I going to do with that? Because I live in a hetero society. Most people that I know is hetero, and they can't relate to me and my queerness because I'm tired of you whores telling me that I'm cute enough and I'm smart enough and why am I partnered and I should be partnered and how am I going to live my life without being partnered and kids, you should have kids, you'd be good at kids. And it's just like, I need people to not try to gas me out of my own humanity, you know? So I made an intentional effort to be around not just the queers, but the Black queers. So I don't have to explain why I like shaking ass, but I don't like popping pussy. Because it's kind of like, oh, you're Black and you're Caribbean and we just live and exist. Okay, cool. I made community because your chosen family is better oftentimes than the ones that you inherit through genetics because you don't get to choose that. But you do get to choose to be a cop. Just like a MAGA hat. You choose to be that. And I chose to be around Black queers. And that made me more confident in who I am, not just in my queerness, but my overall personhood. Because, gasp, I can't separate being queer, like I can't separate being woman, like I can't separate being Black. They're all kind of like intersectionally integrated into like my DNA. So I went in amongst people who reflect that in me. And I have been in more happiness and more opportunities and more safety and more expression because I purposely sought that shit out and purposely integrated myself in that. Met a good Sap and Judy in that group. And we are everything like a couple besides like the sexual and maybe a little bit sensual, but like not the sexual. So like very queer platonic, heavy on the platonic. But when I tell you I love that girl, when I tell you we are hip, when I tell you we are synced the fuck in, when we are locked the fuck in, I feel passion for her. I feel love for her. I feel care for her. Bitch, I am cooking for me and I slave her a plate. Like she my man, but she not my man. I don't want her in that way. And if anybody tried her, bitch, I'm whooping ass. Because gasp, you can love someone deeply and platonically, and you don't have to show it with rubbing coochies. Who would have known that love can be as expansive as it can be, and more intentional, more deep, more passionate, more authentic than a fucking set of vowels that you could just literally print off a Google, bitch. That you could go to Vegas and get a loved bitch, because it's really just a performance. But when I put my foot in it, no sugar mama, I put my motherfucking foot in it. And she like it and I like it too. So, I don't know, y'all. Those are my asexual, aromantic talks. Y'all let me know what it is. Again, not too much on Laverne, because Laverne is mostly good. This was really bad, girl. And then to be in that bitch is just Girl, I cannot be with a man longer than 10. I think my longest relationship with a man was like 10 months, and that shit was exhausting, bitch. Exhausting. I needed life support. I needed them fluids that was at the Diddy parties, no Diddy, because I was tapped the fuck out. When I tell you them niggas was terrible, what? And you telling me you would a MAGA hot cop for years? Oh Lord. I know these niggas ain't shit, but they ain't shit. Like, god damn, like, but also as the asexual, aromantic, is being alone that bad? Gasp. Why is being alone worser than being with a Nazi Klansman? And that is something outside of sexuality and how you identify is something that everybody gotta check under the hood about. Because people truly hate being alone. They hate their own company. They hate being seen alone. Like, oh my God, I'm in public having dinner by myself. What will people think? I live alone. I don't want to be alone. I gotta go places. I gotta do things. I gotta make friends. Huh? What is that? What is that? What is that? As someone who does live alone and prefer it, might give me a furry friend, but prefer it alone. I couldn't imagine having another human being in my space, in my face. And gag is, when I did think I was a hetero, I was a fake hetero. I didn't even know. I even told my partners, if I were ever to seriously like be partnered and married and all the things, we gonna have to get two separate houses, like dead ass, like dead fucking ass, cause ain't no way, ain't no way. Or he got to get a big house on a compound, and he got a wing and I got a wing, and I was dead ass, and part of it was on some bourgeois shit. But most of it was on some like I need my personal space. Like I don't do the cohabitation. You in my bed, you in my space. You do, like what the hell? Like no, sweetie, you gotta go. Pack your whole bag, stay the weekend, and get the fuck on by the afternoon. Like that's just what that. Because when I was performing hetero, I could not fathom doing the nuclear family, one roof thing, because I couldn't conceptualize that for me. So how do you conceptualize a fucking MAGA hat cop? And how you not having those conversations? Because I'm a leftist for real. And I'm an anarchist for I stay with the politics. That's part of the reason why my circle is really small. Cause talking about the pop culture, I be plugged in here and there. I stay with Meg. But I'm not that invested. I don't know what the fuck is going on a Love Island. Dead fucking ass. I don't understand how y'all even watch these dating and relationship and love. Like they're the same shit and it gets more ridiculous and there's always some fucking racism and colorism. Like, y'all hoes on your side? Y'all hoes on your side? Apparently not. Y'all hoes on your side? All these think pieces and this and that. And bitch, you still ain't got no rights. Bitch, you still illegal. What is we really talking about? Just so we can uplift the last final girl and the last final girl guy so they can have all types of endorsements and money and media marketing and all the things. Still, bitch, rent's $3,000 whole. Like, what is we talking about? How am I gonna be a socialist? I'm gonna be an anarchist. I'm all the things, but we're not talking politics. We're not talking material conditions. Like, what is we really fucking talking about? And it seems like y'all ain't talking shit. Y'all ain't talking shit. Y'all ain't talking shit. That's what it really look like. Cause ain't no way we cool like that. We cool like that in the first 10 minutes. I ain't said no socialist shit on you. I ain't roll out a question to chin check where you at and where you fall. That I ain't say some empathetic shit to see if you vibe with it. That I ain't sneak this a MAGA hat and see if you winked it or winced a little bit. If your feelings were hurt. Like if I'm not like huh? But again, apparently you could separate the personal for the political, that you can be out in the protest and then come home and get your dick sucked by a Nazi. Apparently, you don't really got to be that black. Because Africa's black by accident. Because black people wasn't really fucking on each other and doing the thing. It just happens to be black. So you can do whatever the fuck politics in your house, how the fuck that go. And then in the street, in the PR, and in the public facing, you could be that blackly black, 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 black. It's just not like them other niggas. Just like the niggas. Just like the Shannon Sharp types. Just like the Umar types. And what do they have in common? They're charlatans. Because they're hypocrites. And is that black love, black liberation, black politics is hypocrisy and deception? Anyways, those are my final thoughts. Free love equals liberation. Shout out to Deshaun. And shout out to the whole panel. And shout out to Olay. But those are my final thoughts from the asexual. Because y'all hoes don't include us in nothing. Y'all hoes will be sometimes, because y'all really stop at the fucking Q. But sometimes y'all be like, oh, LGBTQIA plus, like Betty would say, Leviticua. Y'all add the A like parsley bitch for decorations. Like, oh, we know they exist, but we don't really know who they are and where they are. But like, we'll throw the A out there just in case that we mentioned everything, we covered all the bases. Just like these white hoes would be like, let's do land recognition and what the fuck tribe and all this shit. But we still gonna do colonies, settler colony USA. We still gonna do genocide. We're still gonna do internment camps, aka reservations. We still gonna do the things. But for the first 5 minutes, let's do this bullshit ass land recognition. That's how y'all do asexuals and aromantics. The A does exist, like me. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Peace.
Self-made, asexual, and I'm always on point like a decimal. Self-made, asexual, and I'm always on point like a decimal.
La reine te lave moins, nèg yo son dérision moins, nan grand chemin.